Live from the community and in Los Angeles, we're training Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Development bi-weekly call. Today is January 5th, 2023, our first community call together of the year. How awesome is that? We are so excited for everything that we have to come. So many exciting things, so many amazing programs, and opportunities for us all to work together. We cannot be more excited. So today, we're going to talk about the latest updates on the community. We're going to see some PnP .NET library updates, PnP PowerShell, latest on Teams, Microsoft Teams Toolkit, Microsoft Graph Toolkit, independent publisher connectors, and then we're going to talk about some samples, script samples, Microsoft Teams samples, Power Platform samples. We got them all. Then we're going to see what time is it. Picture time with everybody in together mode. So we look forward to that. And of course, we have our amazing all-star presenters of the day. These are community, amazing people. Luise, our M365 princess. And of course, our warrior horse leader, Chris Ken, is going to talk about list formatting magic. And Luise is going to cover building find-time solution with Microsoft Graph and Power Apps. So we're excited to see all of that. Now, let's first talk about your opportunity to participate in the community. Now, we absolutely want you to realize and understand that this is your community. And these are your community calls. And so these presenters today, they are part of the community just like you are. And we want you to participate in this community as well. So that means that you can also demo a solution or technical pattern on these calls. You just need to fill out that nice little form that we've set up for you. And in fact, new and improved, this form is going to support not only these Thursday calls, but also our monthly Power Platform calls. So it's a one-stop shop for you, everybody. Just fill that out and one of us will get in contact with you to set you up. Now, you may also have some cool samples you want to contribute. Absolutely, we welcome those too. There are so many sample repositories for you, and you can do that by GitHub. And so we'll see how those opportunities are going to provide. And of course, we love feedback, whether it's things that we're doing right, things that you'd like to see more, things that you'd like to see improved. We just ask you to keep it positive. This is an absolutely encouraging environment and community and inclusive, and we want everyone to feel welcome and empowered. So what are some of those resources that we're talking about? Well, we've got a lot. We've got videos available, developer videos, community videos. We've got open source programs and initiatives like CLI for Microsoft 365, PnP PowerShell. We've got sample galleries aplenty. They are available to you at an all-up one-stop shop of aka.ms/m365/samples, but there are a number of ways to see the individual sample repositories. So things like team samples, SPFX samples, Power Platform samples, list formatting, ACEs, you name it, we got it. We're your place. Now, that is a lot of links for you to have to try to remember, but you're in luck. There's only one link that you absolutely need to remember to access all of these things. That is aka.ms/m365/community, and that will provide you access to all these amazing programs and initiatives that you can take advantage of and get involved with. Now, if you like the community calls, we know you do, we've got plenty of those as well. So the first one to talk about is the Microsoft 365 platform call. This is a weekly call, and this is special because it's only Microsoft presenters. And that means that you're going to get it directly from the mothership there in Microsoft. So those program managers, those product managers, all of those principals that are working on products and the features that you love, they're going to show you and find ways for you to get involved and be educated on new important things that are coming out. So definitely make sure that you make that part of your agenda for every week. And then we've got other community calls, the Microsoft Identity Platform, Office add-ins, of course, our monthly Power Platform call, which is 2 weeks from yesterday. And we've got our two Microsoft 365 and Power Platform development calls and Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework. Those are occurring on Thursdays, bi-weekly, so you're on one of those today. Next week will be the Viva Connections and SharePoint Framework. All of these you can add to your library, or excuse me, to your Outlook and your calendar, and you can do that by getting aka.ms/community/calls. Now let's take a little glimpse of what that platform call is going to look like next week. We've got 3 amazing demos in store for you. The first is Introduction to Microsoft Graph PowerShell V2 Preview Release by Misa and Peter. And then we've got Vesa and Andrew talking about Introduction to Viva Connections Learn Module Tutorial Part 1. So that's going to be really, really cool. And then Waldeck, of course, our favorite Waldeck, is going to show how to test your SPFX solutions, how to respond to throttling with Graph Developer Proxy. So you can, again, get that invite at ak.ms/m365-dev-call. Now, as you're going through and learning about all these cool tutorials, if this is maybe your first time on the call, you may be wondering, well, that's a lot of stuff. How do I get involved with all this? How do I even know where to start, how to learn? how to be empowered to do all these amazing things. Well, Sharing is Caring is a program that we have started to provide you exactly just that. What is it? It's hands-on guidance. And that means that we are going to get on a call with you live, not recorded, and show you together how to accomplish a variety of things, such as maybe your first GitHub pull request you've never done before. Maybe you'd like to learn how to better write for the web, or maybe you're getting involved with SPFX and you want to understand how to use all those versions of Node and SPFX. Well, these are sessions that are safe space. That means that you can ask any and all questions that you'd like without fear of them being on record. They're not recorded. They're inclusive. You work with members of Microsoft, other members of the community, MVPs, and we all accomplish and learn together. And that's the important thing, is it's live and hands-on. So it's a great opportunity for you to collaborate with other members of the community and get more involved. We've got sessions coming up starting next week. So don't hesitate to get signed up. Those invites are currently going out. And so there's still time and plenty of opportunity. In fact, our first one is the Power Platform Samples Contributor on Tuesday. So don't hesitate to sign up. There's plenty of time. It is not too late at all. Now, once you have contributed to our community, we want to recognize you. Now, these are a fairly well-known recognition program now, but again, we want to let everyone know that it's still going. 2023, you'll notice these new dates, and you'll also notice some new names being inclusive here, Microsoft 365 and the Power Platform community. We continue and want to continue recognizing you for all the amazing work that you're doing. This program is formal and official, and it's powered by Credly, that same Credly that gives you those badges when you get Microsoft certified. So they're going to sit right alongside those badges. You can share them on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can send them as cards, letting them know how awesome you are. And we also know that it's important to be able to show, if you're working in an organization or working as a consultant, you need to show your clients and or your managers that you're making a difference. And this is your way of doing that. And are we just slapping on new dates on the same badges? No, we got new badges. So as you can see on the bottom, we've got adaptive card extensions, or ACEs as we lovingly know them, CLI for Microsoft 365, PnP PowerShell, and of course some list formatting. Everybody loves it. The horses love it. So we've got new badges coming up here for 2023. We're excited. Even more initiatives and programs for everyone to be able to get involved with at a variety of ways. And we want to recognize what you're doing. So don't hesitate to sign up. We do need you to opt in. We're also setting up a more formal way for you to opt in so you can manage that going forward a little easier. So we look forward to continuing to recognize everything that you're doing. And again, thank you for all that you're doing. Our way to give back. All right, let's talk about some project-specific updates, and we're going to turn it over to Bert for PnP.NET libraries and PowerShell.
Thank you, David. For the .NET libraries, for PnP Framework, which is our, let's say, older library containing the provisioning engine and containing the page transformation components. For that one, there was a change done by Giacomo Pozzoni, if I pronounce it correctly. He enabled the provisioning engine to also provision non-default views, like a bulk edit view, for example. You can now kind of do that using the provisioning template. Really great work there. Also still want to call out the work that Paul Bullock started around documentation. So if there's folks wanting to write documentation, they're passionate about writing documentation, there's plenty of opportunities over there. On the core SDK side, which is the newer library containing the unified fluent model, which kind of under the covers uses graph, sees some unrest. Not that many changes happened, but a couple of changes that I did actually as I'm working on a new classic assessment module for the Microsoft 365 assessment tool. So with that new module, which is coming soon, you will be able to just get inventory of all your classic SharePoint usage. Whether it's classic lists, classic customizations, you can get a complete overview of what's classic and then have step-by-step guidance on how to make it modern. So that's really cool and coming up in the near future. And last thing, December was a really good month from a usage perspective. We almost hit 43 billion requests a month, which is huge. So that's a nice bump from last month. So thank you all for using it.
Awesome. Thank you, Bert. Well, Gotham is out today, so we'll cover it for him. So yeah, v.1.2 is out, so there's lots of improvements and updates. 4.4 million downloads, which is amazing until you look at the next line. 140 million commandlets executed per day, folks, per day. That is amazing. So docs have shifted. Documentation is available there at that URL, pnp.github.io/PowerShell, which is also in the chat river. So definitely check that out, and definitely continue to support this. This is amazing. 140 million commandlets executed per day is fantastic, and it's all because of the work that you all are doing to contribute. So thank you so much. All right, let's move on to Yo Teams with Stephan.
Thank you, David, and Happy New Year to all of you, which I have not seen yet. So for Yo Teams, we decided to take a little break during the holidays, but we start working on further enhancing Yo Teams right away. We are preparing a new release for version 4.1.0, which should be have added support for manifest versions 1.14 and 1.15, and we fixed the minor things in the generator. And speaking of that, we also are looking into rebuilding the whole generator from the ground up, so to basically support future stuff as well, and make even contributions more easily, because we found out that it's pretty hard for new folks to contribute to the generator if they have not done that yet. And also, as Bert said, we are also looking into docs. So if any one of you likes to write documentation, please feel free and jump into our aka.ms/Yo Teams link. Check out the documentation, check what's missing. If there's anything particular you'd like to see covered, either file a pull request or submit an issue, and we'll take care of that. And with that, back to you, David.
Awesome, thank you, and well done. I love the collaboration here with Yo Teams, so thank you. All right, Microsoft Teams Toolkit with Vesa.
No significant updates since the last time we had this, actually 2 weeks ago, but just before the holiday season, if we were not 2 weeks ago in here, and there was a 4.2.1 version released. And with that one, there's a new dashboard tab template, which you can see a preview on the right side. So you can actually start building this really cool looking dashboard kind of an application super easily using the Teams Toolkit. You'll get a starting point and you're able to then modify that experience. And there's also a really nice step-by-step guidance from the Visual Studio Code to assist you while you are creating a free Microsoft 365 developer tenant. So if you haven't done that, you can actually use the tooling to make that happen. There's also improvements on the SharePoint framework usage, so that's now using 1.16. A lot of improvements on the tabs and single sign-on and all of that. In future, a lot of improvements will be done on the orchestration and app model, making the app model deployment configurable, so you can actually control the automated deployments and all of that more easily. If you find anything, please let Microsoft know and us know at the Office Dev, Teams FX, and issue list. That's the primary location for us for all of the engineering issues. Thank you for that. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Vesa. Let's talk about some Microsoft Draft Toolkit. So 2.9.0 is the latest release. Again, it's been a couple of weeks of holidays and time off, so no doubt we'll see some more updates coming from that soon. It's been very busy with Gavin and Seb. But again, the MGT samples repository is live, so you can get some sample contributions in there. Looking to align all the toolkit components to Fluent UI, more generic components and theming capabilities. So definitely check it out. And of course, your help is always needed. There's help for bug fixes, there's helps to improve features, and of course there's documentation, and you can always find those by going and looking for those help wanted and good first issue. And Seb and Gavin are great, so definitely don't hesitate to reach out to them and talk to them if you've got any questions and want to start collaborating. All right, how about a little independent publisher connectors top 2022 with Joss.
Happy New Year, everyone! Given that we had lots of holiday deployment freezes, I decided to put together a little bit of a different slide, something special for you guys to celebrate the new year. I have made independent publisher connectors wrapped for 2022, just like Spotify wrapped. I've been seeing a lot of you guys on Twitter put together these really awesome little Power Apps that show your top connectors or how you utilize Power Platform most in 2022, and I was really inspired. So thank you to all of you. I have here highlighted our top publishers for 2022. Thank you so much to Troy, Paul, Tomas, Andras, and Roy. I have also put together a small list of our top connectors that were made by the community. And by top connectors, I mean the most highly requested and sought after connectors that were executed by community members. We have Snowflake, OpenAI, GitHub Gist, Google Books, and eBay. As an overall look, we have 49 new publishers and new contributors who have added to the ecosystem as a whole, which is now bringing us to a total of, I believe, 70 overall independent publishers, as well as 171 new connectors made in 2022. This program actually just started, the Independent Publisher Program, about a year and a half ago in July of 2021, so we can see such incredible growth overall. Just as an overall recap, we are now at 220 total independent publisher connectors. The entire ecosystem across Power Automate and Power Apps and Azure Logic Apps is now at 912 total connectors. This last quarter of calendar year 2022 was the second highest growth quarter for our ecosystem in all of the connector history, dating back to 2016, with 80 new connectors certified since October, 47 of which was from the community. So thank you all so much for your contributions. Links will be in the chat for how you can get involved and how you can contact me if you have any additional questions. But thank you all for a great, great year.
Awesome. Thanks, Joss. Yes, and excellent. 171 made by community members. How fantastic is that? Just excellent. All right. Script samples. Now, script samples is ran by Paul Bullock. He's unable to be here with us today, but the site now has 149 scenarios and 199 scripts, also close to 200. Get us there. Somebody can get us there. They use Microsoft Graph, PowerShell, SPL Management Shell, CLI for Microsoft 365, and so much more. So there's new scenarios using PnP PowerShell, how to extract the employees shown in the people web part on pages in a selection of site collection to CSV by our very own Casper Bo Larson, who is on the call. If you want to contribute, don't hesitate to reach out to Paul. Again, another fantastic maintainer of our repositories who is great to collaborate with. This is by far one of the simplest ways to get involved, everybody, because we all have those utility scripts that do amazing things, and we may think, nobody needs it. Everybody needs it. So don't hesitate. You will get a badge. We've got updated 2023 badges as well for script samples. So we want you to absolutely feel empowered. It is a great way to get involved. Do not hesitate. All right, how about some team samples with Bob German?
Hey, hi everybody, Happy New Year. I'm thrilled that we have a really cool new sample to kick off the new year from Lee Ford. He has taken OpenAI API and the same AI engine used by ChatGPT and connected it to Microsoft Teams in this Microsoft Teams bot. So this is a great way to start the new year, and this is going to be a very impactful sample, I'm sure. I'm also excited that Lee is going to demo this on the next instance of this call. That would be 2 weeks from today on January 19th. So please come back and check it out. And Happy New Year to everyone. And please submit your samples. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Looking forward to seeing that example coming up soon. And last but not least, of course, Power Platform samples with April Dunnam.
Thanks, David. So we don't have any new samples to highlight, but we do have some PRs that we're going to be working to process now that we are back from holiday break for a little short break there. But we do have a Sharing is Caring Power Platform contributor session coming up next week on January 10th. So if you haven't submitted any of your samples before, or you built something cool in the Power Platform, whether it's a Power App template, Power Automate, Power Effects, whatever it might be, make sure to join that session. We will walk you through. David does an amazing job. So shout out to David on leading these sessions and walking you through how to get started, what's a pull request, how do you get started with these repos and sharing your samples. So make sure to check that out. We look forward to seeing your samples on the repo. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, April. And yeah, we'll all be on it, so don't hesitate to join. All right. Well, it is picture time. So we are going to hand it over to Vesa, who's going to allow us all to share our cameras. I see Todd stretching for it. He's got his aerobics going on. Go.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We have 50 seats in the room. I guess we'll have pretty soon more than 50 seats. Let's try to fill in the room. I have a few more seats left. I'm not recording yet. I think we are getting closer and closer. Let me put the recording on. And let's actually do some hand waving, everybody. Thank you for joining. Once again, great to have you in 2023 as part of this call. Awesome to have you in here, and thank you for all of the feedback what you keep on giving us to understand what we need to do in Microsoft 365. Excellent. Thanks, everybody. We'll grab a GIF animation out of that. And David, let's get back to you on what are the demos today. Just to recap,
yes.
The actual stars.
Yes, our community all-stars. So we are going to start with Luise Freese herself, the M365 princess, building find-time solutions with Microsoft Graph and Power Apps. Luise, take it away.
Okay, so we're going to build a fine-time solution for with Graph and Power Apps. And for everyone who does not still know me, hi, I'm Luise. I'm an M365 and Power Platform consultant based in Germany. I'm an MVP in 2 categories, which is M365 development and business applications. I blog at m365princess.com. And if you like to follow me on Twitter, that's at Luise Freese, which happens to be my name. So the problem that I wanted to solve is how to find suitable meeting time with lots of people. So of course you have quite some options. You can send endless emails back and forth. So, and as you might see indicated by this emoji, I don't like that. And then, of course, there are tools for you to do that, like Find Time in Outlook. But then you need to wait until other people replied if they do have time or not, or what they prefer. And literally, this can take a little bit longer as well if you really need to schedule a large meeting. And of course, you can also context switch to Outlook and use this super intuitive feature called schedule a meeting. No one knows how to do this, and most people mess up with that, and it's not intuitive, especially regarding time zones. So that is an issue as well. And also, I don't like the fact that usually I work a lot in Teams and then I need to switch to Outlook to do that. And I really wanted to have a different experience. And that, of course, would be have an app for Teams in Teams and let Microsoft Graph do that heavy lifting of scheduling the meeting and find a suitable time for all of these people for you. So very, very big disclaimer. I stole this idea from Waldek Masikash, who published a blog post and a sample and just like a video and everything about that already. And I will post the links after this demo into the chat as well. But let's talk about why I did that. So it is an amazing sample because as you can see here in that screenshot, which happens to be from his blog, link in the chat soon as well. It is really about first picking some people that you really want to have a meeting with, decide on the meeting duration, and I find 25 minutes is a perfect duration for a meeting because meetings shouldn't be longer, but you can of course stick to other times as well, that have a button that finds you those meeting times, and of course, yes, so this is powered by Graph API, that will return some meeting slots that where all of these people are available, and then you just enter your location and a meeting subject and schedule that meeting right away. So that is what the app does, and I was like, okay, I like that, but I wanted to have that as a Power Apps Canvas app, and I wanted to have that in a Power Apps Canvas apps for Teams. Obviously, I know my way around Graph, so I already knew which endpoints I needed to hit because Waldek described that in pretty much detail. I was like, okay, so then maybe first start with the UI. And I mean, how hard can it be to create that? And really, these were famous last words because I promise you, I really had some, let's say, UI requirements. I did not only want that to be kind of pretty-ish, but I wanted that to look like Microsoft Graph Toolkit, which happens to be that what Waldek used in his solution. The problem with that is that Microsoft Graph Toolkit, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well, so it's a set of web components and providers that make you more easily interact with data that sits in Graph, so literally everything in M365, but that is not available to Power Apps. So I needed to create something to still make that happen. Next requirement, I really wanted to adopt that look and feel of Teams. So usually Power Apps look like a little bit out of place and not really up to date when you put them into Teams. And I really wanted to app that blends into that look and feel. And then, of course, I wanted to have that themes aware. So I like to use dark mode. Maybe you like to use default mode or the other way around. And of course, considering high contrast as well. So I think it is time to demo you some stuff so that we understand what we are talking about. So I will first start with Microsoft Graph Toolkit Playground. So Microsoft Graph Toolkit Playground, it's a beautiful website that lets you explore and play around with the toolkit components. And I just wanted to show you what was about the look and feel that I was aiming at. So you can see this text input box and this prompt here, this pop-up, and I can now select those people here. And of course, I can also just search for these people to more easily find them and then select those. And that was the look and feel that I was aiming for. Now, let's have a look how this plays out in the app so that you get a perception on what I did. So this is my app. It is in Microsoft Teams. We're here in my Productivity Hub, which happens to be an app for my meetings, my tasks, my files, people I work with, just like this single pane of glass that we all want to have. And here in that section about my meetings, I do not only have the upcoming and past meetings, but I also have a link for, hey, make a new meeting. So when I select that, I can start typing a name like A, and then I want to have Adele, selecting her or selecting Grady or selecting Miriam, but I can also type right away to more easily find my coworkers. I can collapse that. Then again, I will find a meeting duration that is suitable for me, let's say 45 minutes. And I want to find a meeting time. And as you can see, I get some suggestions back here, and I will decide for this one here, provide a title. So this is just another meeting, and schedule that meeting right away, right from this app. And you can see my meeting, just another meeting with Adele, Grady, Miriam has been scheduled. So I even get an indication that that happened as well. If I'm not a user of the default theme in Teams, and if I restart that app, because of course that can't happen if this is already started because of the way I designed that, this works pretty nicely in dark mode as well. And you can see that adjusts here so that I could meet my design requirements. Now, how does that work under the hood? So what do we need to do so that we can find those people that we work with and also find the meeting slots where these people are available and then schedule that meeting so that everyone gets an invite for a Teams meeting into their calendar? To better understand this, it's a very good idea to start with Graph Explorer. Graph Explorer is one of my most favorite tools because it lets me just like try out what happens or what do I get in return when I hit a certain endpoint in the Graph API. And of course, we all usually start with get me. And when we do this, we get information on who we are, so we as our logged in user. And what I needed to do is I wanted to hit /me/people because these are the people I primarily work with. And what happens if you hit that endpoint is you get an array of people that you work with. So this is here Alex and Adele and so many more people, and we get extensive information on these people. So we needed to hit /me/people to get those people so that we could put them into this people picker, right? That is the first thing. Second thing, we want to get those meeting slots, which happens to be a post request to /me/find meeting times. We will need to provide the attendees. So in this case, it is only one, but of course you can add more by providing here another object for that person. Then, of course, we need to have the time constraints. So you need to provide when, so in which time frame do you want to have that meeting? I put a year in here, but it's usually, so depending on the calendar, of course, but it's usually just like in the next day. So it always picks what is the closest availability of all people, and then the meeting duration is good as well. So this here is 30 minutes, but if I wanted to have 45 minutes, I would just exchange that. If we do this, if we run this, this will return an array with time slots so that we know when all of these people are available according to their calendars. And of course, I can then work with that in my app. And you saw this, that after I clicked this button for find my meeting times, that it was thinking just like a second, and after that displaying the available meeting slots. Third thing that we need to do now that we know, okay, these 5 slots are available, we need to create an event, and I would then go for /me/events because that's my calendar, and it's pretty nice to do it that way. So of course you can do that on Teams as well, but that one is easier. And you will provide a subject, you will provide the start and the end, and of course that is the result of the previous call. So we need to do this dynamically, and then you will provide the attendees of that meeting. And then there is 2 things that are really important, so that this is also a Teams meeting, because usually if you do /me/events that do not have these 2 properties, it's only a meeting, and then you can meet in person, but you do not have that Teams link. But we want to do that to be inclusive to everyone. So it needs to be an is online meeting is true, and online meeting provider needs to be Teams for Business. Okay. To bring that power that I now showed in the Graph Explorer to the Power App, I need to create a custom connector. So a custom connector is a proxy or a wrapper around that API. So in this case, Microsoft Graph. And then I can connect this connector to my Power App and call this API, because it is not possible to call an API just like that. I need to first create that connector. And I will highlight, you can see I have 16 actions in this connector here, and I will highlight the 3 actions that we need to cover so that we know what's going on in this demo. So first it is the get my people. So what I do is it is the very same thing as we did in Graph Explorer. It is /me/people. And that will return my coworkers that I primarily work with. And of course, that depends a little bit on how many messages and teams and files. So it calculates that with some logic. So it is really how much you interact with another person. Next thing that we need to do is we need to do the get meeting times. And I told you this is a post request, and we will hit /me/find meeting times. And of course, the body is the very same as in Graph Explorer, so that we can then get this array of suggested meeting times in return. And the last thing that we need to do is the post a meeting. So I said it's post meeting, and we do /me/events, and of course provide the very same body as in Graph Explorer, which is why that is such a great tool, because it is literally just like really the same, so that I then can create the event. To show you how we do this, so this is the component. So this here is my screen. And now this find meeting time is grayed out because there is no people in here. So I will not show this, but for the find meetings, what it does is it connects to my connector. It calls that action here. It gets meeting times and provides the attendees, the time constraints. If it shall return the reasons why it suggested something, and of course the minimum attendee percentage, which needs to be 100 because I want all of them. So this is the call that I am making, and then of course I in return then get this array, and this array then will feed here my gallery, and the gallery consists out of the meeting time suggestions. For the people picker itself, so you can see that is from a UI perspective, it is a little bit more elaborated than what you usually see in the Power Apps. I created a component for that. Worth to note about this component is this is a text input box, and then we have two galleries. So one gallery is the gallery people, which is my co-workers, and that connects to the /me/people endpoint with that custom connector. And I took care that this really shows up nicely with pictures and the display name, and that I have everything in here. And the other gallery is the gallery attendees. So whenever I select one of those here, it disappears from that collection of people, and it appears here in my collection of attendees. And if I, as a user, made a mistake and I do not want to have Adele in here, then I can just remove her, and she will appear here again in my gallery of attendees. Those items here, it is pretty easy. So that shape here is a button in view modus. Then we have the image, which comes from the Office 365 user connector, and then I inserted that again to that user ID that I got from my get my people action from the custom graph connector, and then just the display name and next icon that takes care of removing that item again from my gallery. I included this expand and collapse, and as you can see, the more I add here, so that would not anymore fit in here. So I'm working on making this fully responsive, but it already looks quite nicely if I change the resolution or the screen size or screen orientation of that. Next thing would be going here. So after I selected something here, so there needs to be a slot selected, and it does not work right now. Why does it not? Oh, wait. Okay, it did work. Now it does not work anymore. Wait. Ah, here it is. We provide this meeting subject over here, and then we will schedule the meeting. And what happens on schedule the meeting? It is, again, my connector, and I say it's the post meeting action, and we provide the subject and start and end. And you can do a location, so this here just wherever. The attendees sit in a collection, which I call attendees. And this is already in the correct format for that. And yet again, to make this a Teams meeting, we go for is online meeting is true, and online meeting provider is Teams for Business. So it's really the very same thing as we tried out in Graph Explorer, and then just put that into a custom connector and make that call then in a Power App. So if you now wonder, well, Luise, this is nice, but I would like to have that because I could really use that, because the built-in people picker is a little bit ugly. Then I have some resources for you. So the sample for the Fluent UI North Star theme, so that everything looks like Teams already, and you have this theme awareness for dark default and high contrast mode. I published that as a sample, and this people picker lookalike component, I published that also as a sample, so you can find that at adoption.microsoft.com. And I also published a blog post that explains how you can build such a solution by yourself. And with that, back to you, David.
That was wait for it, amazing, Luise. You really powered up. Right? Perfect. Awesome. Really, really great stuff. All right. Well, thank you. And those links are in the chat, everybody, for learning more about that. And so if you want to, you can definitely get more involved and reach out and collaborate with Luise. Okay, we're going to pivot a little bit here, everybody. Chris will do anything to get out of a demo, I guess. He had a fire alarm go off in his hotel. So we're going to take this opportunity to do a little Q&A. actually. So I am sharing my screen, and I am going to put into the chat. This is actually using a Power Pages AMA tool. Now, don't try to log in, but as you can see on the screen, you can ask questions. So I can say, hey, how awesome was that demo, right? And if I want to, I can submit that, and then we can all see questions that were submitted. So let's take a few minutes and take advantage of this opportunity. We've got a little time left in our call, and we can ask some questions if we'd like and have some Q&A if we'd like. So we do have everybody muted because of safety reasons and all that. So we can't have everybody come off of mute. So you could put your questions in the chat if you'd like. But if you want to use this tool as well, you can do that. And it's a fun way for us to collaborate. You can even upvote questions, right? So if I were to say, how awesome was that demo? And I post that, now you can actually see that's there, and people can actually upvote the question. So if there's a question that is asked that you want to see more of, or asked and answered first, then we can talk about that. So Hugo, I believe, is here, and number of members of the team. Vesa is on as well. I think that let's see. Casper has a question. Any news on Azure Functions issue with PnP PowerShell? Gautam is not here. I don't know, Bert, if you have any feedback on that, or anybody else.
I don't see Bert anymore in the call either.
Okay.
I think he needed to drop. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what is the latest on that one. I think there was a version dependency thing, but I'm pretty sure that the team is looking into addressing that. But again, we're still partly on the holiday season, so some people are still off. So we need to follow up on that for sure. Thank you, Casper, for following up on that. No, that was who asked that? Anyway, Casper. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. There's another question in the chat, and we got some questions coming in through the Power MA tool as well. One is a loaded question for maybe you, Vesa. When will we hear about what's coming with SPFX 2.0?
And that's a loaded question. I would say whenever and if that SPFX 2.0, most likely that will happen, we'll probably we will make an announcement on that in the right time frame. That will be still based on whatever SPFX SharePoint framework is currently. So we're not planning to break anybody. Already today, if you built anything on SharePoint framework back in 2016, it still works in SharePoint Online. Or even in 2018, if you built something for Microsoft Teams with SPFX, it still works in Microsoft Teams. So we're not looking into breaking anybody. But more details on what's included will be shared later. Thank you, Don, on that.
Awesome. There's a great question that just loaded into the Power MA tool. What's the best place for a complete beginner? We see here, what's the best place for a complete beginner to learn the basic building blocks of what people demo in these calls? That is a fantastic question.
It is.
So there's a few different ways that we're going to provide you new coming into 2023, as well as some things that are already existing. So I think starting with the community, some of the links that we shared here, ak.ms M365, M365 PnP is kind of your one-stop shop for both M365 and Power Platform. You're seeing a lot of the verbiage changing here from just one versus the other to a combined effort. So our teams are working together a lot, and so there is a lot of guidance that we're trying to provide. So as you're learning tools here and learning about tools, and you're seeing demos, there's a variety of places in which you can get involved. So we've got guidance for different areas, such as SharePoint Framework. You heard us talking about sharing is caring. That's a great one to kind of dip your feet into these technologies. I think that if I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit here, we're also working on a project or program, if you will, where we're going to have forums available for you to continue the conversations about these demos after the call. So I'm not going to preview it here, but just to give you a heads up, we're working on where every single call is going to have a dedicated place after the call for you to continue the conversation about the demo. So we know that the chat kind of ends after the call. We've got a lot of people on the chat that want to keep communicating, but we also don't want to pester them day in and day out with 1,000 people being on a chat, right? It's like being in the middle of an airport and everybody talking all at the same time. It's kind of crazy. But we do understand that, hey, conversations want to continue after the call about some of these amazing demos that you're seeing. happening. You might want to learn more about how you can work with the presenter, or maybe learn more about how they created it and ask them questions and collaborate. And so we're working on that. We're actually going to be releasing that later this month with QR codes and AKA links for you to be able to go learn more about what's happening within the community, learn more about what you saw on these calls, not just make it a one-time opportunity to chat during the call live, and not just be, okay, I'm viewing it on demand, so I lost out. We want it to be as inclusive and opportunistic and collaborative for everyone, whether you're able to watch the call live or after the fact. So definitely stay tuned for that. I think that is something that we're all excited about. But again, the aka.ms/M365PnP is a great place to start. Also, don't hesitate to reach out. A number of us are all open DMs on Twitter and LinkedIn. Everyone on the team here is completely inclusive, and you can access all of our contact information here at the bottom. So you can see that we're all the project maintainers and coordinators. We've got our Twitter handle here, and most of us all are open DMs. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out there and ask questions if there's something specific. There's Luise, and of course Hugo's in here, and Vesa, Chris, and Bert, and everybody. So it's a great way for you to be able to interact with us. This is not, we're not behind any kind of curtain like wizards or anything like that. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out if you do have additional questions. All right, let me go back to the Q&A. That was a good popular one. All right, I think the next one, Luise's idea of a productivity hub in Teams is great. When will Microsoft build something similar? I want to see everything that is relevant to me for the day in one place in Teams. Whew, so we do too. We do too. So yeah, we're constantly trying to improve. I think the feedback that you all provide constructively and positively is a great tool for us to be able to share with everybody. And so I think that we ask you to please keep that coming. As of right now, I don't think that there is that one place, but we're working on it. And I don't think that there's anything to share here that's, like, ooh, wait till next week. Something amazing is going to come out. But we're constantly working on and improving and working on everything together. So definitely keep that coming. Any other questions in the chat that I'm missing? And then I think we're moderating the other chat as well.
Patrick is asking, when using JSON customized layout option on the list under header, is there a scoping issue that blocks for value for body works, but at something like blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we seem to have an issue related on some of the out-of-the-box JSON formatting things. Now, that's actually a good point. Any issues related on list formatting in SharePoint or in Microsoft Lists should be reported in the SB DevDocs issue list. So we do have engineering following up on that. So can you actually, David, share the, I will actually find the URL, and I will paste it, but that one in.
Yep, I'll load that.
Just making sure. 1 second. I will add the link in here, and that's basically the GitHub location behind of the Microsoft the SharePoint list formatting documentation, and that would be the location to report anything on the list formatting. We have engineering people following up on those issues in this list all the time across multiple organizations in Microsoft. So this is for SharePoint and Microsoft List things. Now, if it's a Power Platform bug, an issue, then this is not the right location for it. There's a separate location for those.
Yep, absolutely. And for those that maybe aren't familiar with GitHub, you have to sign in. So let me actually do one where I'm signed in already. And there we go. Don't be afraid. GitHub is not always the easiest. You just come in and select new issue, and then you can have a question or a generic issue or a bug report. So let's say we found something that is not working. We want to fill everything in, and it's made it pretty easy here. We've got some forms to fill in and everything. Just be sure, everybody, that you do fill this in. It really allows the maintainers and those that are responsible for triaging all of these requests and issues to fully understand what's going on. That's very valuable for us within Microsoft to be able to collaborate with you and understand. It does take longer to have to go back and forth if you don't. So it's a good thing to be able to do that. and make sure you fill that in. And by the way, if you have any questions about GitHub, well, the Sharing is Caring sessions are specifically just for that, in fact. And so there's a lot of opportunities for you to learn more about these. We actually talk specifically about interacting here with GitHub and the interface here of issues and pull requests, understanding what they mean. So if you're unfamiliar with it and you don't want to make a mistake and feel like, oh my goodness, I'm just going to abandon it altogether, please don't. We definitely know that everyone's starting somewhere, and there's always opportunity to learn, and we're here to learn together. And GitHub is always changing, by the way. We'll be in the middle of a Sharing is Caring session, and Hugo's going to laugh at this, and something will have changed since the last time. We're like, oh great, hey, awesome, we're learning together, and that's okay. That's how technology works. So don't hesitate there.
Happens every single day as we're rolling out new features across the Microsoft 365 and cloud. So
absolutely. Okay, we got a couple questions getting upvoted. Any modernization of Content Organizer coming?
That's probably related on the Content Organizer for SharePoint. I'm not aware of super detailed timelines or anything, but I'm pretty sure that we are looking into having more and more content management and document management features under the Microsoft Syntax, which is still SharePoint powered, but it's actually kind of a bundle to its own offering. Already today, there's a lot of features in there, but there's more and more investments happening. Will those be explicitly on modernizing Content Organizer? I cannot confirm or deny that, but more and more features are coming in the future.
Excellent. All right, and the next
that's
one.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Wow. When will save
we only
as a
have
template?
10 minutes left, by the way.
Yeah,
we only
I don't
have
know.
10 minutes
Sorry, David, I'm heading to a tunnel. That's why my camera is not on. Anyway, so when will the save site as a template coming to modern sites? We'll see. It's not in a short-term time frame, unfortunately, because of multiple internal reasons. There are certain internal technical dependencies, and which is a bummer. What we will have sooner or later is a PowerShell natively where you can save any site as a structural template. I've seen that internally already available, and they will be kind of a packaged sites within assets, almost like what you can do with PnP, but natively within a product, which is a good way of doing things. Will we ever have a save site as a template again back in a site level as an end user feature? We'll see. I cannot actually confirm any timelines on that. But there's a clear demand for that. We do understand that. Cute picture of. Anybody who's, by the way, wondering these jokes on Chris Kent, Chris cannot make his demo today, unfortunately, because there is a fire alarm in his demo in his hotel. Just to repeat that one more time.
All right. Right. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in. We answered that one. Not even quite sure why it's still showing up. Should be. There we go. All right. Excellent. All right. Well, everybody, is there more in the chat?
No, nothing too traumatic. I guess we can close up at this point. We're 5 minutes away from everybody will have a time to have a quick break before the next meeting, right?
That's right. Everybody loves a little time back in their day. So, all right. Well, Luise, thank you for your demo. I think that everybody, raving fans and applause all the way around. So, building fine-time solution with the Microsoft Graph and Power Apps. I really love that one, everybody, because it's a better together story, right? These technologies don't live in silos. And while it may feel like that sometimes when you see the way that Microsoft markets them, we know that they don't. And so it's fantastic for everybody to show how they're using these technologies together and really, really appreciate that. All right, so the recording will be available in 24 hours on the Microsoft 365 Community YouTube channel. Now, you can access all of the channels. We have a number of YouTube channels available to you for Power Platform, Microsoft 365. You can access all of those channels by going to ak.ms/community/videos. That will give you links to all of our YouTube accounts that you can see more and more about the fantastic technology that you love and we love. Subscribe to all of them, in fact, and you'll get alerted for when they are available and the new videos are published. Don't try to download the video here from the chat when you see it says it's it's ready. If you're not in Microsoft, it's not going to let you download it, and we're not able to give permission for that. So definitely go subscribe to those YouTube accounts, and you will absolutely get notified immediately. You can also follow us on Twitter at Microsoft 365 Dev and at M365 PnP. We will alert everyone as soon as those videos are available as well. The next general dev call is January 19th, 2 weeks from today, 7 a.m., same bat channel, same bat time. And the next Viva Connections SharePoint Framework, 1 week from today, January 12th. These are always reliable. We have them every Thursday, no matter. We are a global community, and we want to make sure that everyone around the world is included, no matter the locale, customs, or traditions. So we are always here for you because we know that we are a worldwide global community. So you can access all of the invites from aka.ms/community/calls to get those on your calendar, and we appreciate all that you're doing. So thank you all for the fantastic conversation. Thank you, Luise, again, for the amazing demo, and please don't hesitate to keep reaching out, collaborating. You're all amazing. We appreciate everything that you're doing. Have a great day.